All right, welcome to another mobility routine. Honestly, if you sit at a desk, you have a stiff, tight upper back, this is for you. One of my most common complaints that I see is upper back, just tightness, stiffness. A lot of my patients just feel like they need a constant adjustment. This routine is what you can do multiple times a week to help alleviate that just terrible stiffness you get in your upper back. So first exercise we start with here are called thoracic spine cars. CARs stand for controlled articular rotations, means we're taking that joint through its fullest range of motion, usually in a circular fashion. So what we're going to do is start with our hands on our shoulders, flex down, rotate, and then lean back as we shoot our elbows to the ceiling. You're trying not to use too much of your low back, your lumbar spine, but it's going to happen a little bit. So I'll show you from the side. I like to spread my feet a little further apart. I'm going to round my upper back, rotate, try to keep it all in the upper back, and I'm going to shoot my elbows up to the ceiling, trying to move mostly through the upper back. I do get a little bit of low back movement here, but not the end of the world. We're going to shoot for 5 reps per side here. Squeeze upper back, elbows go to the ceiling. You might get some clicks and pops. Completely normal. It means you're moving things that probably haven't moved in a while. But we're using this as a good warm-up to get this started here. Next up, you're going to sit down, grab a medicine ball, and we're going to work just flexion and extension. So flexion is rounding and extending is going back. Now you could go further in terms of how far you flex down, but if you go too far, you're just getting more of your low back, which isn't wrong, but this specific routine is focused on your upper back moving. I really hug around the ball to open up my upper back. You'll feel stretch between your shoulder blades into your rhomboids as you lean forward and almost try to push into that medicine ball to get as much expansion in your upper back as possible. So this is a loaded stretch. I think the medicine ball I have here is maybe 10 pounds. You can start lighter and work your way up. You might get a little fatigue in your low back, completely normal, but this is focused on expanding our upper back. Next up, you're going to need to grab a foam roller. That last exercise focused more on flexion, which is going forward. This one's really focused on extension. So support your neck with your hands, elbows up towards the ceiling, and lean back over that foam roller. You're trying to keep your low back relatively neutral or pressed on the ground. You'll see I get some movement there, but very minimal. I'm trying to make my elbows be the primary mover and the upper back extending over the foam roller. You'll do a few reps in one spot, and then you're going to move up on the foam roller like I'm going to do here in a second and find a new point to move through. So you have multiple spots in your back that you can move from. Try to do 5 to 10 reps at each different spot here. So from here, I move on up, find a different spot, same rules apply. Low back has some extension, but we're trying to keep our abs engaged to move just through the upper/mid back. The primary motion of our thoracic spine is to flex and extend, but it also needs to be able to rotate. So we're going to do a few thread the needles here. You'll still need that foam roller. Place your hand on top and reach across through the upper back. Try not to move through your hips and low back. Think about shooting that hand to the opposite wall as far as you can. Really rotating and squeezing. A lot of stretch in the upper back by your rhomboids and shoulder blades. Shoot for about 10 to 15 reps here on each side. Something I notice on these is the foam roller will start to kind of slide down towards your hips more. Totally okay if you take a second, pause, bring that foam roller back up. But you'll really notice during these that it'll start to kind of go back towards your hips as you do these more. The last exercise in this routine is now rotation again, but with more of an extension focus. So one hand behind the neck, bring an elbow to elbow, and then we're trying to rotate as high as we can to the ceiling. This one, you're squeezing your upper back. On the thread of the needle, we were trying to lengthen our upper back. This one, we're squeezing. So elbow to elbow, then elbow to ceiling. You can play around with how far you sit back towards your heels. I like to be a little bit more over my arm, and then I rotate and squeeze. So shoot for 10 to 15 reps on each side for this exercise as well. It is important to note, if you get any pain, pinching, or discomfort on any of these exercises, I don't recommend pushing through that. It probably means you need to go see somebody, maybe get some soft tissue work done, an adjustment. These exercises are made to help loosen your upper back up just throughout your week, but it's not meant to fix any sort of issue you may have that needs to be seen by a professional. At any point, pause the routine, add more sets, add more reps, but try to use all these exercises in one go, and your back should feel completely brand new.